welcome back to Sana's Advice. I actually went on Instagram about 2 weeks ago saying that I would upload a video, and I actually got a little behind on uploading. I had some work stuff related to stuff to do, but I actually wanted to hop on here and give you guys a video on what I had talked about. Instagram was sorry, I'm trying to get my lighting fixed. Talk about divorced parents, living with divorced parents, in the Indian cultural world. I'm a little nervous because I haven't hopped on here and talked about anything in a while, so just forgive me if I mess up a little bit, or if I stutter. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. So my parents, they got separated when I was about 10 and then got divorced when I was 12. And divorce in the Indian culture is not, it's now acceptable, but back then it was not acceptable. And I'm moving my camera around, so sorry about that. But now it's a little bit more acceptable. Back then it wasn't. When I say back then, back in the 90s, it wasn't. But my parents, when they got divorced, it was a mutual agreement. I don't want to get into too much into it because I know my mom and dad probably will watch this video, and I just don't want to create any. I just don't want to relieve a lot of information about the relationship. So, but it was a mutual a divorce. Back then, having divorced parents in an Indian culture was a little hard. I will say, for me, I thought it was my fault when my parents got divorced, which it really wasn't. It was just the way it was. My parents both just kind of agreed to separate, and go their separate ways. But yeah, I mean, back then it wasn't. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but yeah, we just don't. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, my parents. Like I said, it wasn't. I always thought it was my fault, and it's not. It wasn't my fault. It was just the way everything was. My mom and I, I mean, at the time, we all lived in California. I lived in California for almost 20 years. I was born in Texas, moved to California when I was really like 2-3 months old, or I think even 6 months. Actually 6 months. And then have been living where I am now, which I'll probably talk about later. But we moved from California to Atlanta, and we live in Atlanta. We've been living here for about 14 years, but I think that was probably the best thing to do while we, still being in the situation that we were. My parents, when they got divorced, it was hard on me because, like I said before, I always thought it was my fault, and it wasn't, but I always took it upon myself. Growing up, I will say I didn't have many friends, so I was actually pretty much a loner, and I'm just being open with you guys now, but before I wasn't. I was a loner, so I didn't have many friends to talk to about divorced parents or how it works out. And especially, and I'm gonna circle back to also it being part of my culture too, right? So if I did have friends, I didn't have many Indian friends that had. Sorry, I'm just gonna move the camera just a little bit. I didn't have many Indian friends that had divorced parents, so even that was hard in itself. So I will, but growing up, obviously, like I said, I didn't have many friends, but after high school, or when I got into high school, I made more friends. I didn't have many friends from elementary to middle school, but after I got into high school, I made more friends. I actually made more closer friends. But anyways, going back to divorced parents, this is just advice. I would also say, if you have, if you have, I'm trying to think of the word. If you have friends always hang out with them. Just kind of go and hang out with them, because that way then your mind is away from like your parents getting divorced, or you're feeling depressed. Like I actually went through depression, and I can get into that in another video as well, maybe next week's video. This might be a two-parter, I'm not quite sure just yet, but yeah, definitely just make as much friends as you can, you know. Growing up, I didn't have many friends, so I got into like depression and eating and gaining weight and losing weight, and and a lot of other health issues. So I would definitely say find some friends that you can go hang out with, talk to, so that way your mind's not always into, oh, what's going on with mom and dad? Why is mom and dad arguing about something that has nothing really to do with you? It's just they're trying to figure out how to co-parent. In my situation, I always was like, why are they arguing about me? Which it wasn't. They were just trying to figure out how to co-parent together without me finding out. But then, because I lived with my mom, it was just kind of, I would hear a lot of things. So, like I said, I would definitely kind of figure out, you know, just go find some friends. You know, have your friends go, just be like, hey mom, I'm gonna go to my friend's house and go, I don't know, go hiking or walking or whatever, you know, depending how old you are. If you're a little younger, like 10, 11, maybe just be like, hey mom, can you drop me off at my friend's house? And make sure your friend is a good friend to hang out with, because sometimes you will find friends that aren't the best. And I've been through that. Growing up, like I said, I didn't have many friends, but when I thought I did have a good friend, it wasn't the best of friends. So I would definitely just kind of find somebody that you can really, and also find somebody that you can really talk to, in the sense of like, somebody that you can be like, hey, can you please keep my secrets? Don't tell anybody, please. I just need somebody to talk to. Just find an outlet. And if you really, really need help, definitely reach out to your parents. Be like, hey, mom, dad, I need somebody to talk to. Go see a life coach or a counselor or anything. That's what I had to do, but I did that later on in life, when I got a little older. I do still see a counselor till this day. So I would definitely just kind of, if you need to, have, you know, ask your parents, hey, can you please find me a counselor, you know? Because you can go through a lot of stuff being divorced, but, or not being divorced, but having divorced parents. Especially for me, especially in the Indian culture, it's a little harder because, you just don't know who to go to. Luckily, I did have cousins, and on both my mom and dad's side, that I can go and talk to. Especially one of my cousins, Yash, who I mentioned in my intro video. He actually is really, for me, he's really good to just go talk to. He's been, him and his brother have been just like my support system, basically, a lot of times. And even till this day, like, even though we live in two separate states, I still call them or text them, or however we do that. But yeah, so going back to that, like I said, I would just kind of, you know, just really figure out, you know, like, just kind of, like I said, find friends. But going back to Indian culture, back when my parents were getting divorced, it was really hard. Especially, even on my parents too. My dad, and I'm not saying, he believed in a lady that he thought, or they thought, is a reincarnation of a god, which I believe in a person, but he's not a reincarnation of a god. He's just a guru, basically, like a teacher. But my dad, till this day, even though she's passed on, he still believes in, like, he still believes like she's a god, a reincarnation of a god, of one of our gods. I really, yeah. So he would always go to her for advice. So basically she was like his counselor. But he would go to her for advice on, you know, what should I do? Should I get divorced, stay with my mom? Or, you know, how should we work it? Or, you know, what do you think we should do? Or what do you think I should do? Sorry, I'm just kind of, my camera's moving around. And so the lady that my dad thinks of a reincarnation of a god, she actually, told him, she told him to try to work it out, see how you know, just maybe try a couple more months, work it out, and then if you guys aren't getting along, go ahead and get divorced. In the process of them in the process of them trying to work it out, my dad kind of just didn't really want to work it out. And I don't want to really say why, so that's why I'm not getting into it, because I don't want to hurt my dad's feeling or my mom's feeling. So just respect that aspect of it, if you don't mind, please. But I just wanted to, yeah, so when that didn't work out, my mom finally just said, okay, let me just, get a divorce. And my mom didn't like the fact that my dad was going to her, the reincarnation, the reincarnation of a god lady is what I call her. But, so I would definitely, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Yeah, so because my mom didn't like that, my mom was like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave, because there was no point in my dad staying with my mom, and my mom staying with my dad. My mom was like, no, I'm just gonna go ahead and get divorced and kind of move it along, but yeah, I think this will be a two-parter video. I'm gonna actually figure out how to, yeah, I think this will be a two-parter video. So, but yeah, this will be the end of this video. My next video, I'll kind of get into more of a childhood, talk a little bit more about how I was raised in the divorced parents, in the cultural, Indian culture. Because, like I said, maybe some people watching my video might be, South Asians, and their parents are getting divorced or in the process, and so it might help a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and log off on this one, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Please like, share, subscribe this video, or please like and share and subscribe this video, and I'll see you guys all soon. Bye, guys.